This seat is reserved for people who truly contribute to the family." In front of all their relatives, Patricia Carter removed Emily's name card from the main table and placed it on a small table near the kitchen door. Emily had just finished her shift at the Asheville Community Center. She was still wearing a simple blue dress and carrying the plan she had written with Margaret. Patricia believed that humiliating her would pressure the entire family into signing the deal before a hidden document could surface. The dining room at Carter House glowed beneath crystal lights while a storm gathered outside the windows. The same relatives who had once praised Emily for caring for Margaret now avoided her eyes, as though their silence would protect their share of the money. Emily did not fight over the chair. She had barely sat down when Ruth Ellis passed with a tray of drinks. Pain in her wrist made her lose her balance, and the glasses fell to the floor. Emily immediately caught Ruth, pulled her away from the broken glass, and knelt to wipe up the water. "Miss Ruth should rest. Her wrist is swollen. I will take her to a doctor if the pain continues." Lauren Carter smiled. "Emily is better suited for serving people than managing property." Emily did not respond. She helped Ruth into a chair and took over the remaining work. Inside her bag, a small brass key engraved with the words C3 touched the edge of the plan. Before Margaret died, she had given Emily the key and said, "When everyone sees only the price of this house, find the reason it was preserved." The plan was not a sudden idea. Emily had postponed graduate school to care for Margaret after her stroke. She later used her community work experience to turn Margaret's wishes into figures that could be examined and verified. When dinner began, Patricia stood beneath Margaret's portrait and announced that Carter House would be sold to Blue Ridge Crown Resorts. She said the transaction would free the family from maintenance expenses and create a future worthy of the Carter name. Lauren eagerly prepared to play a promotional video for the resort. The Carter name will be given to a luxury suite collection. Emily opened the file placed before each family member. The proposed price was far below the value of similar historic properties she had researched. More importantly, the table of contents referred to Appendix C, but that section was missing from the contract package. "Where is the independent valuation Margaret requested?" Emily asked. "And why is Appendix C missing?" Patricia tightened her lips. Margaret was confused during the final months of her life. There is no report. A telephone rang. The screen displayed the name Daniel Ross, the attorney managing the trust. Patricia activated the speaker. "Delay the vote," Daniel said. "I have just verified a trust amendment directly connected to Carter House." Patricia ended the call. "It is only a routine legal matter. We will continue." The call caused several people to hesitate, but Patricia immediately pushed the pens and voting forms toward them before anyone could ask another question. "We only need to wait 24 hours, Emily said. "I'm not accusing anyone. I am asking everyone to review the complete records before signing." "You returned because you want to inherit the house," Patricia said coldly. Lauren leaned against her chair. "A community coordinator earning a modest salary and living in a rented apartment suddenly wants to manage an estate. Who would believe her motives?" Several relatives laughed uncomfortably. Emily placed her plan on the table. She explained how Carter House could become a center for job training, child care, and support for women in crisis, while an event space generated operating income. Patricia pulled the papers from her hands. "A charitable dream will not pay the bills. Margaret once used this house to help people who—" Ruth began. If this deal fails, every employee will lose a job, Patricia interrupted. Ruth became silent, not because she had nothing more to say, but because she feared other people would be punished. Patricia pointed toward the door. "Emily, leave my house." Emily looked at the table where she had once eaten with her mother and Margaret. If she begged to remain, Patricia would turn her request for transparency into the emotional family dispute she wanted. The two security employees hesitated. Emily picked up her own bag so they would not be forced to drag someone they knew from the house. She walked down the front steps as the rain began falling harder. Patricia called after her. "Come back when you have something valuable to bring." Headlights shone through the gate. A black vehicle stopped in front of the steps. Adrian Blake stepped out. He did not look toward the people waiting inside the entrance hall. He walked directly to Emily. "Are you all right?" he asked quietly. Before Emily could answer, Adrian noticed the wrinkled plan in her hand. He gently touched her cheek and kissed her with the natural affection of two people who had been together for a long time. Lauren stared in shock. "That is Adrian Blake. He is the millionaire we have been waiting for to sign the contract." The contempt disappeared from Patricia's face. She stepped outside with a welcoming smile. "Mr. Blake, please come inside. We have been waiting for you to complete the transaction." Adrian held an umbrella over Emily, then turned toward Patricia. "I did not come here to purchase Carter House. Margaret hired me to determine whether the property could be preserved according to its intended purpose." He returned to the vehicle and removed a sealed briefcase. Rain ran across the black leather as Adrian placed it in front of Patricia. "Inside are Margaret's final instructions," he said. "And someone in this family tried to make them disappear." Adrian carried the sealed briefcase and held the umbrella over Emily as they returned to Carter House. The entire family followed them into the library, where the scent of old wood and Margaret's books still remained. Only minutes earlier, they had laughed while Emily was humiliated. Now no one dared to look at her. She understood that they respected Adrian's wealth, not her voice. Patricia quickly pulled out a chair for him. "If the problem is the price, the resort company can negotiate." Blake Heritage Group could also receive the contract to restore the entire property. "You still misunderstand," Adrian said. "Emily and I have been dating for 1 year. But she has never asked me to purchase Carter House, give it to her, or interfere with the vote." Patricia turned toward Emily. "You hid your relationship with a millionaire and presented this plan on the exact day of the vote. Is that not manipulation?" "Keeping the relationship private was my mistake," Emily answered. "I was afraid everyone would judge me according to Adrian's bank account instead of evaluating the plan. What is happening now proves that my concern was not unreasonable." Adrian opened the briefcase and removed an agreement signed by Margaret. Blake Heritage Group had been hired only to study whether the project was financially practical and whether the property could be preserved. The company had no authority to decide the future of Carter House. The agreement clearly listed the scope of work, the fixed fee, and the date Margaret had signed it. No provision gave Adrian or Emily control over the property. "Because I am in a relationship with Emily, my company will withdraw from every future construction bid. We will only deliver the study Margaret already paid for." The library door opened. Daniel Ross entered carrying a blue envelope. Rain still covered the shoulders of his coat as he placed the notarized trust amendment on the table. He did not allow Patricia to turn the meeting into another family argument. This document states that Carter House cannot be sold until an independent review evaluates a community use proposal. Patricia, delay the vote and disclose every financial interest connected to this transaction. Patricia refused to retreat. The amendment has not been confirmed by the board, and Emily's project does not have enough money to operate. Emily touched the small brass key inside her bag. Miss Ruth, do you know what C3 means? Ruth looked at the key, then led everyone to Margaret's writing room. Drawer number 3 in the old desk. She always called it C3. Ruth suddenly admitted that after the funeral, she had seen Patricia remove a file box from the room. At the time, Patricia had claimed it contained old papers that needed to be destroyed. The key turned with difficulty inside the lock. The drawer contained an independent property valuation, a flash drive, a notebook, and a copy of a certified mail receipt bearing Patricia's signature. Daniel connected the flash drive to the computer while everyone watched. The file history proved that Emily had begun developing the plan before she met Adrian. The documents included a 3-year budget, income from the event space, an emergency reserve, program partners, and the number of jobs the project could preserve. Saved versions showed that Margaret had added notes before Emily knew Adrian. Every revision carried a date and confirmation letters from community partners. Patricia quickly turned through the spreadsheets and pointed at one line. This property tax estimate is outdated. The entire plan is unreliable. Emily reviewed the figure. You are right. This tax estimate is outdated. I will not hide the mistake. Adrian did not defend her. He contacted an independent historic property financial specialist and requested a new calculation using current information. The revised result reduced the reserve, but it still showed that the center could survive if the project was completed in 3 stages. Emily recorded the new figure and requested that the calculation be attached to the official file so anyone could review it. Daniel compared the notarization number with the delivery receipt. Patricia received this amendment 6 weeks before the meeting. He opened the independent valuation. The offer from Blue Ridge Crown Resorts was approximately 31% below fair market value. A quick sale allows us to avoid millions of dollars in repair costs, Patricia said. I am saving this family. But near the end of the sale documents, Daniel found a provision authorizing a success consulting fee for Pinnacle Advisory Limited Liability Company as soon as the agreement became effective. The company registration led to an address directly connected to Patricia. The room became silent. The money would not go to the trust or be divided among the family members. It would be paid only if the sale was completed. Patricia's urgency suddenly had a different meaning. Lauren turned pale. Mother, you told me that was a legitimate organization fee. It is, Patricia snapped. She turned toward her daughter. Tell them Emily placed these documents inside the drawer herself. Lauren looked at Emily. She remembered the months when Emily had personally fed Margaret, organized her medication, and slept in an armchair beside her bed. The lie reached her lips, but she could not speak it. If Lauren continued obeying her mother, she might preserve the promotion she had been promised through the deal. If she told the truth, she would have to admit that she had helped prepare a vote without full disclosure. Daniel closed the file. I am issuing a preservation order for every document and temporarily freezing all trust transactions. Lauren slowly opened her phone and showed him a message Patricia had sent before dinner. We only need them to sign before Ross arrives. After that, the fee cannot be recovered." Lauren raised her head and looked directly at her mother. "Are you selling Carter House to save the family or to pay yourself?" Patricia stared at the phone in Lauren's hand, but did not answer her daughter's question. Daniel asked everyone to return to the main hall. Representatives from the trust board, employees, preservation experts, and community partners attended. This time, independent evidence would replace family arguments. Patricia spoke first. "I have carried the cost of maintaining Carter House for years. Emily does not understand how much money this property consumes every month." "You are right about one thing," Emily said. "Preservation is expensive. I am not asking the family to keep the house at any cost. I am asking that the sale proposal and the community proposal be judged by the same financial standards." Adrian presented the report from Blake Heritage Group. Margaret had not invited him to purchase the estate. She had hired him to evaluate the community center proposal. The project was financially possible if it was completed in 3 stages and operated under independent oversight. "The report also does not give Emily the right to lead the project," Adrian said. "She must participate in the selection process like every other applicant." Daniel placed each piece of evidence on the table. The notarized Appendix C, the delivery receipt bearing Patricia's signature, the hidden property valuation, the data from the flash drive, the Pinnacle advisory records, and Lauren's message. The valuation expert joined by video. "Patricia asked me to remove my report from the documents given to the family. I refused and preserved the email." Ruth confirmed that she had seen Patricia remove the file box after the funeral. Daniel explained that her statement supported the notarized documents and electronic records, but did not replace them. Lauren stood. "I helped my mother prepare the vote and the promotional video. I did not know the full plan, but I noticed warning signs and chose to ignore them. I accept responsibility for my part." Daniel gave Patricia one final opportunity to cooperate. She continued claiming that Emily and Adrian were manipulating the entire family. Daniel opened the company registration records. The ownership structure of Pinnacle Advisory led to a private trust in which Patricia was the beneficiary. The fee would be transferred immediately after the sale agreement became effective. The trust board suspended the transaction, froze the related accounts, and temporarily removed Patricia from management authority. The records were transferred to auditors and the proper authorities. Blue Ridge Crown Resorts withdrew after learning that documents had been concealed. Patricia lost control in front of the same people she had once pressured through her status. She looked around as though waiting for a relative to defend her, but no one spoke. For the first time, silence inside Carter House no longer protected her power. Emily did not ask for Patricia to be rejected by the family. Forgiveness may come later, but it cannot replace accountability. After the investigation, Patricia was removed from office, ordered to repay personal expenses that had been improperly charged, and prohibited from managing charitable property under a civil settlement. The secret fee remained under investigation. Lauren lost her commission and representative position. She apologized to Emily, cooperated with the auditors, and entered a professional ethics program. Emily allowed time to prove whether the change was real. Margaret's amendment did not give Carter House to Emily. It only nominated her to oversee the proposal and required the board to hold an open selection process. Emily did not inherit a title. She received only an opportunity to prove herself. During the independent selection process, Emily's proposal received the highest score because of its budget, community partnerships, and her professional experience. She was appointed project director under a probationary term, with public evaluations and a requirement to complete a certification in nonprofit management. Blake Heritage Group provided the original study without additional charge but did not participate in construction bidding. Adrian did not purchase the house, give Emily private money, or profit from her position. Daniel continued serving as legal counsel under the supervision of the independent board. He also created a public records system so that no single person could ever hide important documents again. 6 months later, Carter House opened with childcare services, job training classes, legal counseling, and temporary housing for women facing a crisis. Ruth kept her job and became a guide who taught visitors about the history of the house. During the first tour, she told a group of young mothers how Margaret had once opened those same doors to women escaping abuse. Margaret's legacy did not live inside a statue. It lived in the families now receiving help. At the opening ceremony, a new sign was revealed at the gate. Carter House Community Center, a home preserved by service. Adrian stood beside Emily. There was no ring and no marriage proposal to distract from the event. "I am proud that you protected what you believed in," he said. "You did not rescue me," Emily answered. "You did something more important. You stood beside me while I defended my own voice." Emily watched women and children walk through the doors that had once been closed against her. A wealthy person may be able to open a door, but money cannot replace truth, ability, and courage. Healthy love did not create Emily's value. It gave her the safety to reveal the value she had always possessed. And justice did not mean humiliating Patricia. Justice meant stopping the wrongdoing, enforcing responsibility, and turning one person's victory into an opportunity for many others.